People cling to their hates so stubbornly because they sense once hate is gone, they will be forced to deal with pain. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a deeply profound quote by James Baldwin. And it hits the nail right on the head. It captures this wild psychological paradox that I think literally every single one of us has gone through at some point. We hold on to the negative. We grip onto that bitterness. Because dropping it, well, that means coming face to face with the raw, uncomfortable reality of our own hurt. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us because today we're going to rapidly unpack the architecture of emotional healing. We are diving deep into the fascinating biological and psychological mechanics of emotional pain. We'll look at exactly why our minds literally trick us into staying stuck in these negative ruts, and more importantly, how we can scientifically and structurally break free from the whole shebang. Let's get right into it. So here's the ultimate question, right? Why is it so hard to let go? I mean, we've all been there. You're standing in the shower, replaying an argument for the 10th time. Your logical brain is screaming at you to just move on, but your body, it just absolutely refuses. Well, today I promise you a highly structured, scientifically grounded, and ultimately uplifting answer to exactly why that happens. Okay, let's dive straight into this with Section 1, the paradox of pain. To figure out why we get stuck, we've got to look at our own accountability first. Now, this right here is our core thesis for today, and I really want you to view this not as some heavy burden, but as a super empowering call to action. Listen, when you're hurt, it is entirely 100% natural to feel anger or bitterness or even a desire for revenge. That's just being human. But staying there, making a cozy little home in that bitterness, that is where the real danger lies. Because when we don't process our own trauma, we inevitably and almost always unintentionally bleed that unresolved pain all over the people around us. Which brings us to Section 2, the chemistry of hate. So, you might be wondering, why on earth do we stay stuck if we know it hurts us and the people we love? Well, it turns out this mental block, it isn't a character flaw. It's actually driven by a ridiculously potent chemical reaction happening right inside our physical bodies. When you're in a negative, low-energy emotional state, ironically, you actually feel kind of powerful. And there's a biological reason for that. Your body is basically being flooded with cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. These are what we call the hormones of fake power. They rush through your system, giving you this intense illusion that you're strong, that you have all this energy. And most crucially, they trick you into feeling like you're actually taking action against whatever hurt you. Now, what's really interesting is the stark contrast here. On the one hand, we've got this massive flood of physical energy. The cortisol and adrenaline are screaming at you that you are ready for battle. But on the other hand, that exact same chemical cocktail, it completely disables your ability to act rationally and actually improve your situation. So you are literally bursting with the physical sensation of taking action, but your rational brain is totally offline. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point in Section 3, the illusion of control. We really need to understand the biological trap our own brains are setting up for us here. We end up caught in this grand illusion of control. Think about it exactly like this. Being stuck in that bitter, overthinking state is like sitting in your car, smashing the accelerator straight to the floor while simultaneously yanking up the emergency brake. You're experiencing this roaring, massive volume of energy running through the engine of your body, right? But you're staying in the exact same spot. You're completely exhausting your mental and physical resources, just burning out your engine without moving a single inch forward. Let's walk through exactly how this highly efficient but totally destructive loop actually works. Step 1, the hurt happens. Step 2, to avoid losing our energy, our negative thoughts spike our stress levels and start running automatically in this crazy overthinking loop. Step 3, that loop gives us a temporary and entirely fake feeling that we're planning, we're preparing, and we're totally in control. And step 4, well, this is the kicker. Your brain absolutely loves this heightened state because no actual real-world physical energy is spent executing a genuine action. It feels incredibly productive to sit there and overthink, but it basically costs the brain zero physical output. But I need to gently warn you about what comes next in Section 4, the victimhood prophecy. Staying in this biologically efficient loop has devastating consequences in the real world. Just look at how this timeline spirals. In hour 1, you're making decisions while trapped in these low-energy, highly stressed states. Fast forward to day 1, and those decisions have naturally led to terrible, inefficient planning and really poor results. Why? Because remember, your rational brain was basically turned off. By month 1, those bad results have bred even more resentment and disappointment. And by year one, oh man, by year one, you've successfully completed a self-fulfilling prophecy. You've utterly convinced yourself that you're a helpless victim of circumstance, when in reality, you were a victim of your own biological loop.
So the absolutely crucial point is, how do we get out? Let's look at section 5, breaking the cycle.
We have to pivot away from the psychological problem and look at a highly actionable, super empowering physiological solution. We literally need to redefine what it means to heal mentally. Look at this definition. A state of mind is a condition that can only be effectively changed by rigorously changing the state of the body. That's right. You simply cannot outthink an overthinking loop. The mind built the trap. It can't think its way out of it. To break that chemical hold of the cortisol and adrenaline, you've got to interrupt the physical pattern. You have to move your body rigorously.
And honestly, the data on this is incredibly empowering. Your mental state changes 100% of the time when you rigorously move your body or exercise. 100%. It is an absolute biological guarantee. Even if that means you are angrily dragging yourself to the gym and complaining the whole way there. If you force your physical body into rigorous movement, you force your brain to flush out those hormones of fake power. You literally reset your actual mental state.
Let's see how this all builds up in our final part, Section 6, the courage to love.
So once we finally break that physical cycle of bitterness, we're suddenly staring face to face with the emotional reality of what it means to be open again. We have to be honest and acknowledge the original fear that caused the pain in the very first place. The truth is, loving and caring about someone or something inherently means risking being hurt. It means you risk not being valued. It's totally possible that when you give and when you love selflessly, you might end up disappointed if it's not reciprocated. That is a very real risk. But James Baldwin knew right from the start that avoiding that pain by hiding behind hate was a far, far worse fate.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I really want you to look inward today and ask yourself, what are you currently holding on to? What old bitterness is sitting there revving your engine while keeping your emergency brake locked tight? I'm challenging you to take deep, meaningful responsibility for your own healing today. Step out of that overthinking loop. Go rigorously move your body, change your physical state, and find the courage to embrace the very real risks of truly living, loving, and healing. You have the power to let it go. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredibly important topic.